So, good morning. Yesterday I explained Moshe Rosh connects the Gezerat or Haita, the burning of the Sepharim, which is a terrible loss, actually a terrible loss for all generations. So many of the early manuscripts which expressed the continuation of Torah Sheba'al Peh disappeared. And it's interesting, it's well known that Beit Yosef, the author of the Shulchan Aruch and the greatest commentary on the Rambam, who lived much before Moshe Rosh. He was the greatest master of halacha. In fact, it's the bridge between the Rishonim and Achronim. And today, especially Sephardi Jewry, relies to a vast extent to the Rambam, the Beit Yosef, who decided decisions, but also took into consideration the Rif and the Rosh. The Rosh was more Ashkenazi. So he was also a great Kabbalist. He had a Maggid. He used to have revelations from an angel that personified the Mishnah. And in Parshat Va'era, the Maggid Misharim revealed to him as well, why do the Gentiles burn up the Sfarim? Because Adam ki amut ba'ohel. Because people don't sufficiently dedicate themselves to, as it were, even almost to die for study of Torah. In other words, the study of Torah, to immerse oneself in it, is a concept where it says, here I set before you, it says in the Chumash, as a Chaim v'Satov, as a Mavet v'Tarah, that there's an identification, or in the Chumash, between tzaddikim, or people who follow the path of the saints, they have life. And those that don't have death. And then there's even a description to study and to learn and to immerse oneself in the Torah and to fulfill all the mitzvot. This is true life. But those who discard it, they enter into death. So that's the concept, Mishemeimet Atzmo Aleha. And the Maggid says the same thing. The Gezerot come because of this. And therefore he said, it introduced, actually it's only for a short time to do it, but afterwards he had to leave Italy. He had a very difficult time himself, and even some of his Sfarim were also destroyed. But to understand this concept more deeply, what does it mean? Meimit atzmo aleha. So, I want to bring you here, there's two aspects to this. It's important. It's a principle for the people of Israel to dedicate oneself to Torah and Mitzvot, and not allow oneself to be a slave to the materialistic life, the materialist awareness. But also, I think it's an enormous message for those who are leaders in the international and national organizations and representations. And it is shown to us in the most remarkable debate which took place. We know Alexander the Great was also a philosopher, and descriptions which are given both in the Gemara as well as in the Greek works. It's well known that he, at a very young age, a great genius, he was a disciple of Aristotle, who taught him. And when he was young, he asked probing, mature questions of the Persian king's ambassadors. He had a deep thirst for knowledge. And Plutarch says he was a personal disciple also of Aristotle, and he disseminated Greek wisdom. Now then, the Gemara describes that he had a great passion for conquest. One of the greatest conquests of the world. And when he came to the borders of Judea, Shimon HaTzadik came with also others to appeal that he should release Judea from its Hellenism and recognize the superiority of Judaism. It should be left alone at least, it should have religious freedom. And there are different legends what actually happened, but so according to some, he even prostrated himself in front of Shimon HaTzadik. But his relationship to Judea was that he respected them. Because he probably also learned already from Aristotle that the source of wisdom lies amongst the Jews. Going back right to the time of Shlomo Melech. Anyway, there's a debate which fits in whatever is known also from Greek sources. That the Greek source said he asked the Persian wise people some of his questions that still remained even after he'd entered into a deeper study of philosophy. And when he came to visit Judea, he had a debate with the wise men of the south, great Talmidei Chachamim, and asked them questions. He asked 10 questions. Ziknei HaNegev, I'll bring you here as a source in Masechet Tamid, page 31b. So first he asked the question, is the distance greater from heaven to earth or from east to west? Now, they're astronomical questions, because he was also master in astronomy. Anyway, then we weren't to go to that discussion. Then he asked which was created first, the heavens or the earth. Further question. Then he asked the question, what is above, what is below the universe? What is before history, before time, what's after time? And that I'm also not going to discuss, because we want to come. Then he asked, how do you define a wise man? So they said, a wise man is someone who thinks of the future, not just of the present, and who is a hero, a mighty man, someone who's conquered whole continents. Is he a hero, a mighty man? They said no. The most mighty man is the one who conquers his own evil inclination, his own materialism. He masters his own materialism. Who's called a wealthy man? He was enormously wealthy. He said, he who's happy with his portion. In other words, they explained to him that even persons that been multi-millionaire, generally speaking, he wants many other milliards. He's not satisfied. But someone who's satisfied, recognizes everything he has as a portion given to him by the Creator, these were all very deep teachings, and he recognized that there's a great wisdom here. Then they said, how can a person make sure he really lives? They said to him, Yamit Atzmo. He should kill himself. But what does this mean? And the opposite also. What should a person do if to die? He said, he should enliven himself. In other words, if a person wants to die, he should immerse himself in physical materialism, as a result, is spiritually, otherwise true life, eternal life, which carries on all the time, is cultivated on this earth, the spiritual element. So Rashi says it in clear terms. When he said, a person is able, has got a strong inclination for things which are purely materialistic, to go and take it away from others. He's got a concrete inclination. Then he says, what does it mean, yamit et atzmo, yashpil et atzmo? He's got to lower his own self-centeredness. It would appear then there are very interesting other questions, and in the end, he learned a lot. He reached the top of the world, the greatest conqueror in ancient times, one of the richest people, and the one who was also very high in his search for truth, which he received, first of all, received answers from Greek philosophy. But near the end of his life, after that, shortly after this cool event, he actually died. We won't go into all the details. I just wanted to apply this to the situation today also, that we know that in all times of the ups and downs of human history, there have been great conquerors, people who've reached the highest level in the direction of human society. And one of the classical cases is Paro. As the Rambam said, Paro represents the personification of the Yetzer Hara. If you go into the history of the challenges which Moshe Rabbeinu brought to Paro as the Shliach of Hashem. And this has gone right through history until today. You understand something, what's happened in the world? What's happened? The average, ordinary Muslim, most of them, they're interested primarily to have a good living, and want to live in peace, as most human beings do. But who is there to transform them and dictates them and rules them? It's these people who have a enormous given portion in life, that they should become leaders, and then their power of leadership goes to their head, and then they think they can rule society. That's what's happening today. We think what's happening, it's these maniacal leaders, like the leaders of Iran of today, and it's applying a bit also even to the Western world. It's not enough what Hitler did. Hitler, Mussolini, and they became maniacs, like they became Asher Shevet Api. They no longer had a freedom, became addicted. So Alexander the Great was one who was addicted to conquer, to become rich, to conquer everything. But since at his roots he also had a search for truth, he was willing to enter into debate with the Chachmei HaNeged. And this is what's one of the key points, Yamit et Atzmo, of the concept of also all we Jewish people, we are the representatives of Hashem to preserve the human conscience. And in fact, Amalek said also, Lo Yarei Elokim means he has no conscience. And Hitler, Yimach Shemo, in the conversation said, every Jew has to be destroyed because the Jews represent the conscience. We are the conscience of mankind, and we have to recognize here in Israel, we have to develop a conscience. We have to learn about what do we develop the conscience of Musa. Go learn how to channel all your materialistic and self-centered instincts into the service of the God of loving kindness. And that's the lesson from Alexander the Great, which goes on until this day. Because unfortunately, once these leaders, then they confuse the whole world. They think I've got a position of leadership, and then they think that they are almost in the place of the Creator of God, and then they go and they make an idol of themselves, and their conscience disappears. So we are the ones who, as a nation, we dedicate ourselves to every part of Torah mitzvot is there, letzarev ben abriya, to purify human beings at the individual level, at the national level. And we see how important it is to allow this influence to go through to the international level. And that's our task. And that's the when we have today this hint at the birth, the Gezerat Oraita, then it's got to be answered by Adam ki amud ba'ohel. And it's explained that Shlokas was an individual who also transformed himself. He was willing to go in that direction. And Alexander the Great also to some extent. And the truth is, if unfortunately, amongst his successors, the Ptolemies were not so bad, but the Seleucids, who were his successors, they were continuing in the corruption of idolatry and killings and murder and glorifying the human body to such an extent that was more important than any aspect of the soul. So they took aspects of Hellenism which were evil instead of the seeds in Hellenism, which can be, as Noach already prophesied, Yafte Elokim Liyefes. Bishkon Bol Hashem, the Shechina is in the tense of Shem. But Yefes and Yavan is Ionia, is the same root. Ionia is Yavan. This was Greek civilization. And Greek civilization could be used to bring all the nations of the world back to Torah. It's all because in that there's also to see the harmony in the world and the harmony in human life, which can be achieved when people develop the conscience. So this is our mission today. Okay. I have to stop now, I'm sorry, because I go somewhere.